Hello guys, it's Stephen here. Welcome back to the Transfer Target on a rainy, miserable Saturday afternoon in Manchester. I'm sat looking at a very grey sky out there. Most of you probably getting very drenched at Park Life or something like that. But I'm sat here talking about Joao Cancelo, a Manchester City potential transfer target, because that's what I do on my Saturdays these days, it seems anyway. But I hope you're all good. Is that in camera there? Yeah, I'm going to move it. That was just a little water spray thing. Look at that in camera. Anyway, hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. I wanted today to talk about Cancelo because, according to some rumours, City are closing in on him. Apparently, some people are reporting that there's been an acceleration in the talks as Guardiola ups his urge for this man to come to Manchester City. Now, it's obviously all been prompted by Danilo allegedly wanting to leave. The rumours were that Inter Milan were coming strongly for him after they secured a place in the Champions League. But now it looks likely that it could actually be Juve themselves who go for the Brazilian international in almost like a swap plus money deal for Cancelo. Now, this is the bit where I'd be totally and brutally honest with all you guys. I don't know loads about Cancelo. I know who he is, I know who he's played for, but I can't honestly pretend to watch him week in, week out at Serie A, or I haven't watched him at Valencia or Benfica or anything like that. But I do know he's a very good footballer, and I do know he's highly rated, and I do know he's played well for Juventus, and I do know in general he has lots of raw ability, that the kind of stuff that Guardiola does actually like. And I've done like an hour of reading, an hour of watching stuff about him, just to kind of get prepared for this video, just so we can talk about him in a little bit more detail. And I've actually started to do that thing where you start to talk yourself into the idea of a signing and start to enjoy what he could potentially bring to Manchester City Football Club. In terms of the actual report, it's all kind of escalated. There was a very good piece from my friend Sam Lee and Romeo Agresti over goal.com where they reported how it started to accelerate quite a lot. Loads of Italian journalists are saying that Juventus are very conscious about financial fair play and respecting a £50 million loss this year, hence why they need to make some money. I think a lot of their business strategy was built around the idea of Gonzalo Higuain going to Chelsea, but Chelsea obviously aren't taking that up. So they got loads of money that they need to make somehow, and Cancelo is a very saleable asset for them, and one that they probably think they can replace on the cheap. So he's available basically. He's also the kind of player that has moved around quite a lot in his career, so maybe another move for him isn't really a big deal at all. He's very experienced for someone who's 25, genuinely. He started obviously at Benfica, had a loan to Valencia out of the blue, did very well at Valencia, got into the Liga team of the season in 1 year, then went on loan to Inter Milan, and then he went to Juventus. So he's had lots of experience at very good clubs already at the age of 25, and obviously as well he's played for Portugal alongside Bernardo Silva, which is also one of the strengths of this potential move. He does know Bernardo Silva very well. They play very well together according to people who follow me on Twitter at least, but I've seen some reports and done a little bit of research, and apparently links up very well with Bernardo Silva given his elegant, strong, pacey game. It works very well with Bernardo's cutting in. But it also seems to be set up for him to leave Juventus this summer, and City want him. Now, he looks very good. I've done the thing where you watch all the YouTube videos and read about him, and honestly, he's a very exciting player. The one thing I love about Cancelo is that he offers something that Danilo does offer as well, but not quite as refined. He offers this ability to get forward and be decisive and creative, and it's proven by the fact that he's just as effective as a right winger as he is as a right back. He's a very natural attacking fullback, very natural at getting past people, very natural at creating chances, and it all comes from this incredibly good stride he's got. He's one of those old-fashioned fullbacks that's good at dribbling because of his pace and his strength and power at gliding past people. Very good change of direction. He doesn't need loads of space to run into. He's just very quick at changing direction and has a very strong acceleration. And he's a pretty big guy as well. I'm not saying he's massive, but he's like 5'11", 6 foot, which is a good size, you know. It's the kind of size you need in the Premier League. And when you've got someone who can bulldoze forward with good pace and good technical ability and has a good size, well, they're very hard to stop once they get going. I really like what I've seen of him. He seems to be very technically adept with both feet. He can get to the byline. He can drive past people. He has a very positive style. He can beat people for fun. And that's one thing that maybe Kyle Walker does lack in general. Kyle Walker is a fantastic player. I really think he's a very good player. There's not many right backs better than him in world football, despite his bad spell around January, February, March. And he did have that bad spell, but largely for City, Walker's been a very good, very reliable, key member of our 2 title-winning seasons under Guardiola. People give him stick, but he's a good player. He is a good player, hence why he's played pretty much every single game he's been fit for Guardiola, despite having someone like Danilo on the bench. So Walker's liked, but still, one thing he doesn't have, Walker, is he's not very good at getting forward in general. It's the whole thing about him not being great crossing. How much would he be worth? I mean, it's kind of true, as much as it's kind of childish when Gary Lineker did tweet the whole "how much would he be worth if he could cross." he actually can't really cross very well, and he can't get forward very well. He just has that incredible pace and that very good physicality, understanding of the Premier League that Guardiola definitely loves. And Walker will be played an awful lot, even if Cancelo does come in. But Cancelo offers something where we're trying to break down these stubborn teams who are willing to just sit back and do absolutely naff all game. Cancelo also offers a chance to potentially, if this happens, obviously I've got to add that caveat in there wherever I can in this video, but if this does happen, it gives us a chance to play with wing-backs, which is something Guardiola's clearly wanted to do for so long now. He's obviously wanted to try it when Mendy was fit, and he did briefly try it here and there, but he never got a chance given the fact that we've not had these physical fullbacks that can bomb forward and actually show as much competency going forward as they had defensively. The only one we've had fit who can do that has been Kyle Walker, who's played, and he can't really get forward anywhere near as well, so he hasn't bothered. Danilo could probably do it, but he's obviously not seen as a first choice under Guardiola. You always got the impression with Danilo as well that he was never really intended to be our first choice signing. We all know how much Guardiola loves Dani Alves. He really wanted him. He looked for the world that Dani Alves was going to come in as an experienced player, but then obviously at last minute PSG stepped in and took him instead for an insubordinate amount of money, and he went to live a very easy life over in Paris, which I don't blame him given his age. But Guardiola obviously clearly loved Dani Alves and sees him as probably the best right back in the world, and understandably so, because Dani Alves is tactically brilliant. He has a technical ability that is more or less unrivaled in world football for fullbacks. He's so good, so intelligent, and Guardiola loves that about him. And when we got Danilo, it was very much a reaction to that. He was a good player, he got him because he was available. It's like, yeah. But I think the fact that Danilo's barely been used shows how much Guardiola really doesn't rate Danilo that much. He obviously thinks he's a good footballer, but he's not used him anywhere near as much as I probably thought would have happened. But he clearly does obviously still want some form of attacking right back, and Cancelo could be that man. He's been very good for Juventus. He's one of their most technically gifted players, according to some prominent Italian football journalists. Adam Digby adds something on Twitter, whatever he's called, said that it's a move that doesn't really make sense for either club, in his personal opinion, in terms of City being hunted down for financial fair play, and the fact that Cancelo can't defend as well as Walker. But he did say that Cancelo is very good technically, one of Juventus' most gifted footballers, which is a high endorsement for a very talented squad there. Of what I've seen of Cancelo, it seems to be warranted. I just like the look of that kind of bombarding fullback. They're so much fun to watch, aren't they, when you get them and they're just steaming past people and they're creating chances and they offer kind of threats from deep. And if he does come and he does play regularly, the idea of someone like Bernardo Silva cutting in and having that understanding, because they're both Portuguese and they both played together internationally, Bernardo cutting in and Cancelo overlapping on the right, causing all kinds of trouble. That seems very appealing. Cancelo also can cross. I've seen loads of assists when you do the whole kind of YouTube kind of compilation thing. Some good whipped crosses. Interestingly as well, he has popped up at left back every now and then, from what I can tell. Obviously not his preferred position, but he has done a job there, here and there. Most notably for Juventus. I saw him play a couple of times there last year, according to some research I did anyway. So we are in for him, allegedly. We do want him, and this would be a very interesting signing. Not one that I was expecting to happen, if I'm being honest. Not one that I thought was going to be essential. But it's pretty obvious that we won't go into the season with just Kyle Walker as a fullback, and we do want someone. And I think Guardiola's got very excited by the idea of having this 6 foot, powerful, technically brilliant winger that he could really kind of hone and fit into this system. It would be nice maybe to see a young lad like Dionku or Frimpong get a chance, but they're not quite ready yet. They are still very young, and maybe they're the ones to step in when Walker maybe starts to kind of wind down a bit in a couple of years. I know Walker's not really that old yet, but it could start to happen, and maybe we need a younger backup with a little bit more experience at that point, but they're not quite ready yet, at very least. So Cancelo, in terms of the fee, if it does happen, it's allegedly around 35 million plus Danilo if he was going to Juventus, which is 35 million, which is kind of like an upgrade-ish, which wouldn't be too bad, I guess. I mean, with financial fair play around, the City are paying attention to that for obvious reasons. It didn't seem like the most wise spend of money that we're going to do, but you know what? If he's a good player and Guardiola wants him, I will take him. In general, this would be a signing that I'd find very interesting. We're obviously still linked to Rodri, and he's after some space in the press to go and consider his future and all that kind of stuff. And the rumours about Harry Maguire are allegedly true. Make of that what you will. But we are after those two, and there's obviously loads and loads of rumours going around Joao Felix too. I still think Leroy Sané will stay, honestly. I still think hand on heart that he'll just stay, because Bayern are doing that whole thing where they're trying to settle him in the press, but they don't obviously have the money to pay what seat want for him, and I think he'll just stay around. And the rumours lately are that his girlfriend wants him to stay in England and his mum wants him to go back to Germany, and listen to your girlfriend. Your girlfriend always knows best, Leroy. But back to Cancelo. This could happen. It seems to be escalating quicker and quicker, and I'm just growing into this. 25, skillful, loads of technique. The only thing he lacks allegedly is a bit of concentration defensively, but if there's one man who can improve that, it's Mr. Pep Guardiola, a man who's known for improving everyone better defensively. He's known for improving pretty much anyone given time, given the right attitude and application. And I quite like players that played with other people internationally as well, and the fact that he's linked up with Bernardo Silva as well at some point, it seems quite exciting to me. Anyway, guys, that's just my thoughts on Joao Cancelo. I asked on Twitter, is it Cancelo or is it Cancelo or Cancelo? And I got told by a couple of Portuguese followers that it's Cancelo. So cancel. So essentially, as I already said on Twitter, I'll be saying that pun, is cancelled if he doesn't come to Manchester. Oh, I'm sorry. Terrible pun for a horrible Saturday. It really is very grey out there, isn't it? And there's the window there. Look how grey it is. It's minging. Can you see that? Or is it really overexposed? It's very grey, just trust me. I'm probably out of focus now. Anyway, go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll be back for another video Sunday or Monday, no doubt. And I'll try and keep up to date with any transfer rumours if they're worth the time. I've not covered loads of stuff on the transfer target yet, because I think a lot of it's been bullshit. But I will cover anything that I think actually has some interest. In a bit.